For some time now I've wanted to make these Belyashi, and today I've done it, and they're absolutely delicious. If you want to find out how to make them, then stick around and watch the rest of the video. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to the homestead, back in the kitchen with another recipe. Now this recipe is Belyashi, as I've just said. If you ask anyone now, they'll probably say, oh, it's a Russian street food. Yeah, it kind of is. That's not a lie, but there's a bit more history to it. Essentially, the Belyashi translates, if we were to say it in English, if I wanted to say it to make you understand what it was, then you would call it a meat donut, because that is essentially what it is. But it comes from the Tartars, which is from the Tartarstan region. Actually it's a republic, strictly speaking, part of the Russian Federation, but it's down the kind of south end of Russia towards the more Persian area. I guess that's where they would get their influences from, and there they call it peremesh, I think is what it's called. That's essentially what it is. Obviously it's made its way through Russia and then through Russia's occupation of Eastern Europe. That's where that recipe, that street food, has come in, and it's still sold here as street food. Two memories I have of Belyashi is when you would arrive in Latvia and get your way to the central station, the bus station. There was always a kiosk there, street food kiosk, selling these kind of meat donuts. And sadly, it's no longer there, I don't think. And also, Gita's uncle, Andres, when they were visiting from Germany, the first time I met them, he turned up here in the garden with his selection of Belyashi, and there were some meat ones and there were some ones filled with sauerkraut, fermented cabbage as well. So I'm making it today. Traditionally, they're filled with minced meat, fresh minced meat, which is then cooked through part of the cooking process. However, I'm going to use some pork belly and kind of I want to say break from tradition, but actually I am doing a very authentic version of Belyashi, and that is with pre-cooked meat. And this piece of pork belly has been slow roasted in the wood stove overnight. I did that last night, and I can see that someone's already been picking a few bits at it. And so we're going to chop that up finally, and that's going to be our filling. I'll talk about that a bit later in the video when we do that. Here's our other ingredients. I won't go through them right now. So we'll make our dough, we'll do our filling, and then we'll fry them and then enjoy them. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to do is activate our yeast with some sugar and some warm milk. About room temperature will be perfect, not too high. We don't want to kill the yeast off. After a few minutes, it's activated, it's nice and foamy, and that's all ready to go. So we put our wet ingredients into a mixer. You can make this dough by hand, and an egg. We've got about 275 millilitres of warm milk, our activated yeast, big tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and then about 550 grams of flour. I've used bread flour here, but plain flour will work as well. And you've got to kind of gauge the mix. I actually didn't put the right amount of flour in, so I had to add an extra, but 550 grams should be about right. But you're looking for a dough which is just slightly on the wet side and not too sticky. So we're going to add some oil as well, about a couple of tablespoons. And just top up, I had to top up the flour again. And now it looks more like a bread dough, but slightly on the wet side. It's all coming together nicely now, that's all done. So I'm going to scrape that off. And I'm going to take the dough out and we're going to let it rest and rise. So we'll just put a little bit of flour on a table. We're going to take the dough out of the bowl, just shape it a little bit. Ready for its raising period, and just bring it together into a tight ball, and then we're going to put the bowl. Really what you want to do is oil the bowl first. I forgot, so I'm doing it afterwards, but I'm just going to put some oil on my hands and then coat the dough with some oil, and then also coat the bowl as well. and that will just stop any kind of skin forming on that dough. And then just cover the dough with a tea towel and put it in a warm place. We had the wood stove on in the morning and that was still quite warm, so I've put it onto a rest around there. Next we're going to prepare our filling. I'm using this roasted pork belly, and I'll just start slicing it. I don't really want any of the skin in, as it's a little bit too chewy. So you can see it's nice and fatty. It's going to be really nice when it's inside those Belyashi and when it's cooked. And then to our meat, we're going to add a couple of finely chopped onions, or one large finely chopped onion. You can mix this up in a blender if you want to, but I'm happy just chopping it. And then a good sprinkle of garlic powder, all fresh garlic. Good sprinkle of black pepper, and about a teaspoon of salt as well. You can add other spices if that's what you like, maybe some chili powder or something, or smoked paprika. Right, our dough is ready. It's at least double in size. So what we're going to do now is just knock out the air from the dough and put it onto the table. And I've just weighed that dough so I know how to equally divide the dough into the different Belyashi, and this mix will make about 12. So I'll just weigh out the individual. I mean, you could do it by eye, but I do like to just use the scales. I just find it gives it a slightly better even result, even if it's a little bit more faffy. So here we are going to start putting the Belyashi together, and what we do is just roll the dough chunks into a ball on a floured surface. I'm just going to roll them out kind of evenly round as possible, really. About the size of a small saucer. I think these were 110 grams each of dough, and then just a couple of tablespoons, or a tablespoon and a half of filling in each one should be about enough. And then bring all the sides together like I'm doing here, and just pinch them all together. The dough's soft enough and just still got that slight stick to it that you can easily sew up the parcel without it opening at all. And then just what I do is turn it over and just flatten it out, even it out, and then put it to the side and continue to make the others. Here's a sped up version of me making one Belyashi from start to finish. There we are. And then we're ready to now fry them. If you've got a deep fryer, then great. Otherwise, you can just kind of semi-deep fry them. So a couple of centimeters of oil into a pan, and this pan will fit about 3. The oil's hot enough when a match or something will just fizzle in the oil. Now, the important thing here is we don't want the oil too hot, because if it's too hot, it won't cook the Belyashi all the way through, because they are meat doughnuts, as I said at the start, and we do need to cook all the way through. So as long as they don't brown too quickly, they'll be fine. If you do make a batch and you find that the first one is still quite doughy inside, just pop them in the oven and wrapped in foil, and let them heat through, and then that'll be absolutely fine. You will find, obviously, with a juicy filling, you'll get a kind of a layer of juicy dough on the inside, but it shouldn't be too thick. So just work them through as you see I'm doing here, and then put them on some kitchen towel when you're done. So let them cool down and they're ready to eat. I like to eat mine with a little dollop of apple jam, just to give it a little bit of sweetness. So, la bon appetit. I hope you enjoyed this Belyashi recipe video. If you did, then check out our other Latvian recipe videos on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on another video very soon. Bye bye for now.